Hello, welcome to Mr. B's Ukulele channel. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy watching. This is my tutorial for the Beatles' Ticket to Ride from 1965. This is a really great song from the Beatles to learn on your ukulele. It's quite a challenge, so I'm putting this in at level 5. So there are quite a few parts to it to get your head around. But it's a great song to learn, and if you do enjoy it, please do check out my sing-along. And if you like both videos, please do like and subscribe and help the channel to grow. Okay, let's get into Ticket to Ride. We're going to have a look at the finger picking first of all. There's a little bit of finger picking at the start. Then we'll look at the chords. Then we'll look at the different strumming patterns involved. Then we'll do a bit of a walkthrough, have a look at the layout, and finish with a little bit of a demo. Okay, let's get into it. Here we go. So, if you have a look at the screen and look at the sheet music that I've done with this, you'll see there's a little box of finger picking at the start. I'm just going to talk you through it very slowly. Then I'm going to zoom in and show it you a little bit more smoothly, a little bit more at tempo close up on the fingerboard so you can see what we're doing. So if you have a look, it's basically on the E and the A string. It's not that difficult, but it is a bit of a stretch. Goes up to the 7th fret there. So it starts on an open 0, on an open A, which is the 0. So open A. Then straight away on the 7th fret on the A. So that I'm going to use my 3rd finger there. So I'm going to go open 7, stretch down to the 4th fret with my 2nd finger. Then with my index finger, the 2nd fret, back up to the 4th fret. Then thumb on the E string, on the open E string. So that's the opening bar. So it's A 0 7 4 2 4 E0. The zeros obviously just mean the open string. Let's just do that one more time. So if I start with my thumb on the open A and then pick up the 7th fret with my index finger. So I'm going thumb, index. I'm trying to alternate between my thumb and my index finger for most of this, just to help keep the plucking nice and clean, or the finger picking rather. Whoops. So starts on the open. And you can see it basically repeats the same pattern 4 times. So the first pattern, then you repeat it 3 more times. So 4 times in total. And then we go into the A at the beginning of the verse 1. So after we've done the open E at the end of the pattern, we go straight into the A chord. And that's when we start singing. I think I'm gonna be sad, I think it's today, yeah! Okay, so that's the finger picking, and you can see how that all fits together quite smoothly. It's basically a simple pattern that we then repeat the 3 times more. So have a look at that and make sure you're comfortable with that. That's your introduction to the song. You don't have to start with that. You could just strum the A chord a couple of times if you want to, as an introduction to the song. So if the finger picking is a bit tricky, you can leave that out and just do some A strumming at the beginning as an introduction. But if you can, put the finger picking in and do have a good look at that. Right, let's have a look at the chords next. So there are 7 different chords we need for this song. We've already alluded to the A. That's our 1st and 2nd finger on the 1st and 2nd fret on the G and the C string. There's the A. Then we go, after a line and a half of that, we go to the B minor. That's our 2nd chord. Bit of a stretch, that one. A bit of a painful one sometimes as well. You've got to really pinch tightly. 1st finger across the 1st, 2nd and 3rd string from the bottom. The C, E and the A string, of course. So 1st finger there on the 2nd fret. And then the 3rd, I normally use my 3rd finger stretched down with it on the 4th fret on the top G string. You get that combined B minor. It's a bit of a pinch, that one. You've really got to pinch tightly with your thumb on the back of the neck. So that's the B minor. Have a good look at that one and practice that one. And you can practice going from the A to the B minor. You've got to be able to make that transition nice and cleanly and quickly. Then we get to the E7. like the E7. I find it's a really nice, easy one to grab quickly. First finger on the G string on the first fret there, second finger on the C string on the second fret, and the third finger on the A string on the second fret as well. E7 there, nice and comparatively easy. Then we have a D7, which is also comparatively easy. Second finger can go across the top three strings, the G, C, and the E. Third finger goes next to it on what would be the C chord position, third fret on the A string. Now, although it's a semi-bar on the second finger there, it doesn't matter if you do a complete bar across all four strings because your third finger's covering that further up the fingerboard. So that actually works as a semi-bar or a bar with your second finger. It doesn't actually make any difference. So you can sort of just pinch that second finger really tightly, get that third finger in place, and you've got a D7. Then we have the G major 7. Now, don't get this mixed up with the G minor 7. Also different to a G7 chord. That's so specifically the G major 7. And that is basically first finger or second finger, to be honest with you, if it's easier, depending on where we're going to it from. G major 7, your bottom three strings. So the C, E, and the A on the second fret. Okay, have a look at that one. A little bit unusual, but it's quite a nice, easy one to play. You're going to go to that from the F sharp minor. I always like that one as well. It's a nice sounding chord, I think. Similar to a G7, but a string higher up. So that's a nice, easy way to remember it. First finger on the C string on the first fret. Second and third fingers on the second fret on the G and the E strings. And last but not least, the chord that makes this piece challenging all by itself, and that is the E chord. And the E chord is nasty just to look at, and it's nasty to look at your fingers when you're doing it, and you think, oh my gosh, what have I done to my hand? I've done an E chord, that's what I've done. It's first finger on the G string on the first fret, but then it's second finger on the A string on the second fret. That's painful by itself. And then the third finger goes back to the top on the C string on the fourth fret. It's just horrendous. When they designed the ukulele, they didn't think about the E chord, so that's all I'm going to say. Good luck with that one. What I would say is you're going to it from the D7 mostly in this song. D7. So your first finger is free. So you can get ready to put your first finger in the right position because it's already free. And then you basically just have to reverse your second and third finger. It takes a bit of practice on the E. So do have a good look at that E. Spend some time going from the D7 to the E. And good luck with that because that is probably the hardest bit of the song. If you can play an E comfortably, then this is quite a nice easy song for you. So that's probably the biggest challenge. Right, let's have a look at the strumming next, which is relatively straightforward. You'll be pleased to hear. Okay, let's go. So the strumming is very simple. We've already been playing around with the chords with the down, down, up pattern. Let's start with the A again. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So that's the main pattern, nice and easy. If you look at the sheet music, all the chords coloured blue go with that pattern. I've got a couple of red chords there, and you'll see there's a red single strum, your G major 7. Just do a single strum on that one, nice and simple. And then you've got a purple E at the end of the bridge. It's the only one there, just the one, but we just do one E, you'll be pleased to know, one E followed by 3 taps. And that's it, that's the end of the bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's nice and simple, that one's in purple. So you just got to be aware of those 3 different patterns in different places, but actually very simple strumming to do there. So nothing too difficult there. Let's look at a walkthrough and really get into this song. So as we've said already, it starts with the finger picking. I'll do that slowly and then I'll go into verse 1. So we start with the A string. We do the pattern 4 times. Then to the A chord. I think I'm gonna be sad, I think it's today. Yeah! Stay on the A. The girl that's driving me mad is going now to the B minor, way, and the E7. F sharp minor now. She's got a ticket to D7, right, back to the F sharp minor. She's got a ticket to G major 7, right, single strum there, back to the F sharp minor. She's got a ticket to E, right, but she don't to the A care. Then verse 2, she said that living with me is bringing her down. Yeah, it's all on the A, and that carries on exactly the same as verse 1. As do the other verses. We've then got the bridge in the middle. Starts on the D7. I don't know why she's riding so high. Sure to think twice, sure to do right by. Then to the E, quick scrabble there. That's the hardest bit there, that jump there. By me, back to the D7 before she gets to saying goodbye. Sure to think twice, sure to do right by. E again, a single E, and then 3 taps. And that's the bridge. So it's that jump from the D7 before she gets to saying goodbye. Sure to think twice or to do right by to the E. And that's the hardest bit there. Then the other verses are the same. We do the bridge again later on. And then after verse 4, we do the ending. And that's really simple on an A. I lied earlier when I said the tapping on the E was only in one place. We do it on the A at the end as well. So the ending is simply like this. My baby don't care. So it's the tap followed by the down, down, up, down, up strum, all on the A. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. You just fade away with that nice and quietly. That's the ending. So it's a relatively simple song in many ways, in that the verses are all the same and there's not that many chords, only 7 different chords. What's really horrible is that E chord in a couple of different places. It's in the verses and it's doubly in the bridge, so it's just a bit of a pain. But if you can get confident with the E, you'll be really good with this song. It's a really fun challenge to learn because you've got the finger picking, you've got a few different chords there, so there's a lot going on. If you have a look at the layout, relatively simple. Finger picking first, verse 1, verse 2. There's no bridge in between that one. Or you could put it in if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it. It's a horrible bridge with the E. Then at the end of verse 2, we do go to the bridge. Go into verse 3. Then it's the bridge again. Then we go to verse 4. We don't do the bridge at the end. We go straight into the ending that we've just sung. So there we go. That's the layout. And that's Ticket to Ride. Let's have a look at a quick demo of it. And good luck with the song. I think I'm gonna be sad, I think it's today, yeah! The girl that's driving me mad is going away. She's got a ticket to ride, she's got a ticket to ride, she's got a ticket to ride, but she don't care. I don't know why she's riding so high, she ought to think twice or to do right by me. Before she gets to saying goodbye, she ought to think twice or to do right by me. She said that living with me is bringing her down, yeah! She would never be free when I was around. She's got a ticket to ride, she's got a ticket to ride, she's got a ticket to ride, but she don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care.